This is the greatest fear for any fan. Anyone that loves a series, to see their series dig itself a 6-foot hole, and upon digging, somehow it manages to find a cavern, and they fall into it, and it feels bottomless. And the expectations that are already at the bottom of the barrel somehow gets lower, lower, and lower. And it just, the current state of Blue Lock, just taking a look at this trailer that came out a few hours ago, I can't help but feel bad for the mega fans. I've said this already in a few videos as of late. I made a video 2 weeks ago talking about Uzumaki, and I briefly mentioned Blue Lock, and then a week later, which was a week ago, I talked about Blue Lock and how its anime and its current state of its anime, and now a week has passed, and more stuff has come out, and it's just like, I can't help but just feel so bad, because when I take a hard look at this show, and like, you look at these scenes, this is a trailer for one of the most important arcs, or the most hyped up arc for Blue Lock, is finally getting adapted. And when I look at this trailer, it's nothing but PNGs. It's literally a PowerPoint presentation, and it's like the manga panels were colored, and it's just worse quality overall. Even the art quality is worse than the manga, and it's just like, what happened? How did this happen? And it's so soulless. It feels like it lacks a soul, and it's so crazy. It's like, you could feel that there is just so much production issues behind the scenes. You could feel there is just so much eternally going on behind the scenes. It's like management and the people on top has just straight up given up on the project of Blue Lock, and they don't care about it no more. They want to be done with it. That's literally what this looks like. That's how it feels as someone that watches this. And let's get into that. So basically, this is a trailer that came out a few hours ago at the time of me currently recording this, and this trailer pretty much shows exactly what we've been seeing for the past few episodes of Season 2. It's literally just a PowerPoint presentation. At first glance, when you look at it, if you haven't seen the manga, or this is your first time looking at it, the art quality could be a little bit misleading. The shading isn't necessarily bad. I mean, there's nothing to write home about, but the shading isn't bad. The line art really isn't terrible or anything like that. It looks relatively okay for modern standards. But then when you actually see the movement, it's nothing but lip flaps, aka the mouth moving, and PNGs moving on screen. And then you have like Adobe Premiere effects being poured on a still frame image that is just paneling. It is legitimately, there's like barely or not even animation whatsoever in this show. And the only form of movement you really see actually when things are going on is just the ball that is CGI moving in frame. It is not good. And this trailer basically showcases the exact same thing that has been happening for the past few episodes that many fans of Blue Lock have been talking about. And it's just like, dude, this is supposedly supposed to be the most anticipated and hyped up arc for Blue Lock. Fans have been talking about this for over a year, and to see this trailer, pretty much any expectation or any hope for Blue Lock to actually have any form of good quality adaptation has pretty much just dropped into a bottomless pit. And I hate to see that, man. I hate that. I really hate that. I'm not gonna pretend to say I am a mega Blue Lock fan by any means. I'm not going to say that. I'm not gonna act like I am. I'm not gonna act like I'm a current manga chapter reader. I'm not gonna do that. But as someone that loves manga, that loves anime, loves just stories, seeing a series that obviously has a lot of fans, a big fan base at that, and it garnered a lot of attention about a year and a half ago, and all that, and it came out at the right time where there really needed to be a good sports anime, thanks to Haikyuu kind of ending and all that, and, people have been wanting something to really scratch that itch for a while. Seeing Blue Lock start off very strong and then dropping off so hard with Season 2, it's sad, man. And it makes a lot of sense why a lot of people are, comparing it with the Seven Deadly Sins Season 3 or The Promised Neverland Season 2. Now, to be fair, there is definitely a lot worse adaptations out there in terms of, using a lot of messy CGI and also just cutting content out. There definitely could theoretically be a lot worse. But even then, the reason why this is becoming such a big topic and why so many people are discussing it, including myself, is because of the potential that Blue Lock had. It always had this potential to be very good and very popular. Like I said, potentially be the next Haikyuu or Kuroko no Basket. But to see its current state, any potential hopes of that is basically been squashed. It's not possible. There's just, I don't see any form of way for this series to redeem itself in the common anime watcher's eyes to want to stomach to sit around for a potential season 3 if that indeed does happen. And so let's talk about that for a second. What's really going on here? Why does Blue Lock just look so bad right now? Let's talk about that. So there was a Reddit post that came out a few days ago, and I saw a lot of people kind of quote retweeting and retweeting this on Twitter as well, and then I even saw an article pop up about this. And apparently an animator on TikTok, I don't know how creditable this is, but the information I do say, regardless if this isn't really an animator talking about it, it is believable because of previous circumstances within the anime industry. I'll talk about that in a second. But basically, this apparent animator that has worked on Blue Lock in 5 episodes of Blue Lock of that, basically openly said that they did a lot of cuts, a lot of animation, etc. And when the finished project came out, apparently it was basically scratched out, and basically it didn't look like what it initially was. Now, I've seen some people kind of clarifying this on Twitter, and I'm not going to say that this is confirmed 100% what happened, but some people have said that the director or whatever, whoever's like in charge of the stuff and the storyboarding and all that, you know, effectively has dumbed down the look of the show to make it cohesive and very still framey because the production really can't keep up, and so more or less they just made it look really bad, or not trying to make it look bad, but making it look very limited, but for it can remain consistent for they can get the episodes out. Now, like I said, I don't know if this is true or not. This is like hearsay, so to speak, so take those words with a grain of salt. But let's get into what we do know, okay? One of the big things that we can definitely guess from the whole situation, even if this information and what people are talking about this animator and stuff, if it legit is true or not, we know deep down, no animator that's probably working on this show wants to work on a show that legitimately is awful. I don't think any animator truly going in, obviously there's probably case in points of people potentially doing this, but I feel like genuinely most animators, like 99% of animators that work on shows, they go in because they have a passion for animation. They have passion for anime, and they don't want to make a bad product. They don't. I legitimately think animators really want to give the best they possibly can. And so because of that, I don't believe that Blue Lock and the animators that are working on the show are maliciously trying to make the show just look like dog water or make the show just feel very soulless. I don't think that is the intention of the staff. I don't. Maybe not even the director. I think what it really comes down to is just poor mismanagement of management itself and the production committee. We have seen time and time again from multiple different shows over the years, decades even, where the production committee or the management that kind of hands down this stuff to different studios, etc., they force these studios to get stuff out and all that, or these, you know, publishers and all that, or producers, so to speak, to get the stuff out as quick as possible. Like, for instance, let's think of 86 and Aniplex and stuff, what happened there. You know, we have seen this to where production is forced out at a given time, and they don't care. They want it churned out like it's in a sweatshop. And I feel like Blue Lock is the result of that. That management, more or less, they want this product out no matter what, and obviously the staff that's working on it was probably not given enough time, not many months to really work on it. And obviously, that is why we got the product we are currently getting. And I feel like whoever's in charge of maybe formatting the episodes, like the director or whatever, the reason why everything looks so limited is because obviously the time management, there's not enough time to work on everything, make everything look so amazing, so he's cutting things down and making it very limited for the episodes potentially to come out like they are, instead of having to fully delay the said show, because most likely management and like the production committee and stuff, they might not want to delay the show, because we gotta look at some recent examples of shows, like Nier is a good one. Nier obviously started having a lot of production issues where people just couldn't keep up with it, and there was a lot of Aniplex shows that were having this problem, A1 as well. And we know that went on like indefinite hiatus for a while. Eventually it rebooted and came back and all that, and we know how that went. The point is that we have not seen that for Blue Lock, and it's very clear at this current time that Blue Lock is in desperate need of a break, like hiatus, so to speak, but it's not been given that. In fact, they released this trailer just a few hours ago, which implies that they are not going to be putting the brakes to the show. They're going to continue pumping out the episodes regardless if the quality gets even worse than it currently is, which is devastating to think about, not just for the staff, but also for the fans as well that really love Blue Lock. So the thing about this whole situation is I think management, more or less, and maybe the production committee, I don't speak for them, but I'm assuming they're more or less just looking at this, they're writing their hands off from the series, they're trying to squeeze as much as they can out of this stone before they move on to their next project and be done with it. I think that more or less they just don't care about Blue Lock anymore, and they don't care to give it enough time, they just want to move on to the next big thing. That's what I assume, at least as someone that consumes the anime, not someone that's like in the industry or whatever. That's just what it looks like to me, as someone that just knows how businesses operate, and how businesses are very cutthroat, and they want to make as much money as possible. Maybe they just don't see any potential or possibility of money making from Blue Lock, and they want to move onward, so to speak. That's a possibility. Regardless, there is something I do want to point out, and that is, apparently Blue Lock's scenes from this trailer has, like, footage from the game. Now, I looked into this, I looked up the game of Blue Lock. Apparently there's, like, a gacha game or something. I've never played it or anything, or really seen anything from it, but apparently, like, footage from this trailer, there is gameplay footage, actual footage from the game. And if that is indeed the case, I think that really just states enough just how pressed for time the show is behind the scenes, and that's basically a full-blown meltdown. Like, when you have to use gameplay footage to add into your trailer for the anime, it's not good, man. That's about as bad as it can get. But I'll leave it at that. I wanted to talk about this. I just, it's sad. It's sad to see the current state of this series. It just keeps getting worse, man. It keeps reaching new lows I didn't even think was possible. But I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe, stay healthy, and I love you guys. Chibi out.